If you are on the phone and a Wremac member, please identify yourself. All right, if you're on the phone at all, please identify yourself.
Bill Charles from Ulster.
Vicky Florence from Olean.
Hi, good afternoon. Bruce Treebed from Nurse Advisory.
All right, so the plan for today is that we're going to get through the agenda, and then at the end, there's going to be a presentation about the hospital hub system. That's not an action item, that's more of an informational presentation. So if you have a time restraint and need to leave, there will be nothing after that, and there'll be no notes about that presentation. The previous correspondence has been sent out, as well as the minutes from the last meeting. Does anyone have any questions, additions, or anything else for those? Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Dr. Walters, is there a second? Thank you, Alex. Any opposed? That carries. CMAC STEM School report, Dr. Walters.
There is none because the meeting is in 2 weeks, the 24th, 25th. So we'll follow up with the next meeting.
Regrettably, it's my job to do the Wremac Chairman's report. Two things that came up this week. The VA does not have a STEMI or PCI program until further notice. So if you're an agency that uses the VA for your STEMI patients, please stop for now. And Lakeshore is also phasing out their inpatient observation medical beds currently. Their psychiatric and substance abuse inpatient facilities will be unchanged. And there will be more to come about that in the future. Trauma Advisory Committee, Beth Moses.
No report. Meeting will be end of October. There's been a scheduling process, so we're working on a date.
All right, thank you. Nurse Advisory Report, Bruce Treepass.
No report at this time. I bumped our meeting to the end of the month. If there was anything that would like to be looked at, please let me know. You know, if there's anything that you wish, or if there's anything else the board wishes. There was a ChemPack drill in the Erie County area, being in the summer, and a lot of questions came up after that. So that emergency management and the pre-hospital basic 12 lead EKGs has been coming around. So that would be the topic of discussion for right now.
Great, thank you. Program agency reports, Lake Plains.
Good afternoon. We had a couple classes on the schedule. Mental health first aid class coming up. It is actually full. It overfilled. So, however, there's going to probably be more down the road. Our CLI class scheduled in October is going to be going forward. We actually had such an overwhelming response. We actually set up a second class in November. So be on the lookout for that. Additionally, we have a CIU that we're scheduling or attempting to schedule for November 10th at Entrip for individuals that need an update. Pretty much all our courses have started. EMT, AEMT, paramedic refresher have all started. We did have a class scheduled for this Saturday down in Shelby. It was canceled due to lack of participation, so to speak. As far as requests to Wremac, Stafford Fire is requesting both Narcan and syringe epinephrine. Bethany is requesting syringe epinephrine. Olcott, BLS 12 lead, and the Grace Bible Church in Newfane is submitted their PAD application. We just wanted to bring it up to Wremac that there is the summer medical director change for Mercy from Dr. O'Brien to Dr. Billetier. In addition to all the paperwork had been completed and submitted to the state to transition from Dr. Conley to Dr. Peterson in Genesee County. So that has been all completed. With credentialing, we had 15 agencies that were not in compliance as of the July 1st date, we submitted letters to them, and since then we had gotten compliance prior to the August 1st deadline, so we did not have to remove anybody offline, but we did get compliance, which brings up the question. I got a call from Dr. Takix regarding the letter that was submitted, and he was questioning the word probation and wants to know clarification from Wremac what that means.
For which agency?
He is with Wendellville.
And they were not in compliance?
They were not in compliance. I submitted the letter putting them on probation.
Right.
He feels it's punitive and there's no direction on what that entails and what that means, so
I will speak to him.
I'm bringing that to the board. Again, I always want to stress, anybody interested in electronic PCR, please give me a call, Scott, or the South, ladies down in the South there. We're really trying to push people to go electronic, and there are some options now available. Just want to remind everybody, as I'm sure the other program agencies will, Vital Signs is coming up. So if you're interested, please sign up. It's in Syracuse. We have Big Lakes coming up on October 3rd. We're kind of out of the normal because of Vital Signs. So Big Lakes will be October 3rd, Niagara County is the 4th, Orleans County will be October 17th, and then Genesee meets on the 25th.
A couple quick questions. One, is there any action we need to take further for the transition from Dr. Conley? That's all set at previous meetings?
As far as I understand, I don't know if you guys want to officially, formally vote on it, but
All the transitions on the previous meetings, the transitions from Dr. Peterson to Dr. Connolly for his agencies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was last.
Okay. And then it was in your report, but just if I can ask one more time, the number of agencies you had in your region that were not compliant by the initial deadline and then are not compliant now?
I am 0 now. I'm all
Zero now.
compliant.
The original deadline was
15 agencies.
15. Okay. Any other questions for Lake Plains? STEMS?
We have been working with Roland General Hospital to be able to have our providers go in and do some death lab observations. We have a certified instructor update scheduled for 2 locations at our building and All-Star Jamestown on Saturday, October 6th. Those registrations are still available. It'll be a 6-hour course instructor update. We have 3 leadership training seminars coming up in October on conflict resolution, understanding team dynamics, and time and stress management. Those are during the day. We are holding an approaching Alzheimer's seminar with the Alzheimer's Association of Western New York. They're coming to present what we do at distance learning to play a few areas. We have an ITLS refresher course coming up in December. Various Narcan trainings, and we've also set our date for spring training, our annual conference. It will be next year, April 26th and 27th. And for credentialing, we were compliant for all our agencies with the original deadline.
Right. Any other questions for STEMS? You being the EMS?
The report was submitted, just a couple of notes. The program agencies are all going to be participating in the monthly conference call with Bureau staff, and specifically the Bureau Director, as often as possible, just to try to improve the communication and the transfer of information between the Bureau and program agencies statewide. The first meeting was last week, and it's supposed to be about an hour long. It took about an hour and a half, but there were a lot of topics that were covered. This is really a good thing. This is something that the program agencies kind of asked for in response to our meetings that we had really 3 times a year when we go out to state council. So this is going to be a good thing across the board to try to improve the communication and just have everybody know what's going on. It also provides an opportunity for some best practices that occur statewide. That education to be shared so that other regions can know what's going on elsewhere in the state and maybe get adopted some of those practices. The reason why I mention that is because one of the topics that came up in this past meeting was credentialing. And the director infusion, etc. So there's no, this is purely just conversation at this point. There's no action on it, but it does pertain to the mission of this organization, so we should at least be aware that that conversation is occurring. And for those who are going to be at Albany next week, maybe you want to have a conversation with the director to get more information on what his vision is while you're there. That being said, we did not have such a rosy report when it came to credentialing. We know it was services meeting deadline. And we, at this point, we have everybody cleared up, with the exception of Buffalo Fire, which actually has basically a 2-year working with the Bureau and trying to resolve their issues. So Dr. Barr provides, I'll say, quarterly to semi-annual issue reports to the Bureau to let them know what the progress is. There are a lot of issues that come into play there, but seeing as their issues existed prior to this existing reporting period, I just let that one slide as it was an ongoing issue, that they're continuing to work toward compliance. So other than that, everybody else met the deadline. We had, I think there were about 14 that didn't meet the initial deadline, and those have since been resolved. What we're seeing as the biggest issue is providers, because we're on the portal, agencies are entering information throughout the year, which is great, but because providers have to validate that information from May 1st, sometime between May 1st and June 30th, they're actually just not hitting the submit button to actually validate it. So the information was in the portal, but they weren't submitting it to essentially ratify what they had put in throughout the course of the year. So with that being said, we know the agencies that were affected by this, and we're just going to be trying to reach out to them throughout the year to make sure that they're comfortable with what the process is going to be next year, so that we aren't running into severe delinquencies. But the feedback really continues to be very positive. We had a provider, chief of fire department last week, that called up and said, you know, he has a hard time turning on the computer, and that the portal is incredibly easy to use, and that it's a great tool for them to be able to manage the providers and their credentials, and thank us for that. So we're starting to, I think, kind of reap the rewards of the heavy lift that we've had over the past year or so to get on board. I shared with you in the report a list of all the total number of providers who are online in both Erie and Wyoming region, and this is by level, so you have a sense of how many providers who are out there. The offline providers, these are providers who are associated with the service, but they don't meet the regional requirements, so they are identified as offline in the portal. Everything else that's in the report is there for you to read. I won't go through each item in detail, but unless you have any questions for me, that concludes my report.
Any other questions? Okay. Collaborative protocols, Dr. Walters.
Yeah, I'll just mention a couple of brief things. In 2 weeks at the CMAC SEMSCO meeting, there are going to be new statewide BLS protocols proposed, hopefully approved.
It was voted on and approved by last SEMSCO meeting.
That's what I'm asking, okay. So I know that's been, that one particular item has been a source of confusion for some, so I wanted to make sure that we.
And I just saw a draft of the collaborative protocols come out yesterday, and it actually, in fact, is in there for.
Perfect. I think that's probably the one change that I could ask the rest about, so, thank you guys.
Dr. Walters, real quick, do they intend to update then the collaboratives as far as the PLS sections of the collaboratives?
Yeah, so those changes have already been made, and that is the plan is to just tweak those. There's a few little minor wording differences. Most of it is the same, but that will be changed and amended so that they will match specifically the BLS, the draft protocols, and I think also in the draft protocols they also have redone the indexing so it's easier to find certain things. Instead of having adults and then separate pediatric sections, it'll be by disease, which makes it easier so you don't have to look and say, is there an adult and a pediatric protocol for this, or is there one? You just look and you'll see adult or pediatric next to it, or just one if there's only one. But those should all be changed so they should be in line and match up very well.
Will the AMT needle decompression be rolled into your credentialing process or procedure, or is it already there? I obviously wasn't for the AMT,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
I believe it's in there.
No, it's an important question.
Just wanted to take care of it, so thank you.
It needs to be.
Thank you.
Both we can agree on that. Subcommittee reports. Dr. Youngberg, QI. Good. Don Trepez, cardiac arrest field termination ad hoc committee.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Clemency. Unfortunately, I will have to professionally be resigning from that position. However, my friend over here, Scott, from Allegheny County, has welcomed the opportunity to step up to the task, and he will have all of that information available in the planning meeting very near future.
All right. Any questions for Don? Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Old business. Wremac policy review, pediatric skills and CME was tabled until the CMAC meeting to look at revisions are going to be at the AMT level. Brian, do you have anything to add?
No, not at this point. Not until, I think we're waiting until the next 2 weeks to see and then to adjust our schedule.
Okay, so we'll leave that on the agenda. Wremac leadership retreat. Will I see them in my lifetime? Okay, we'll move along. Dr. Brown has stepped down as medical director, and I will be the medical director under the Wremac policy for the Cheektowaga companies that were left without a medical director. The Wremac policy talks about 60 days to aid in the transition, and the maximum number of agencies does not apply under that policy. So those agencies are Cleveland Hill Hose, Doyle Hose, Forks Hose, Highview Hose, Pine Hill Hose, Sloan Active, company number 1, Ucrest Fire Company. That does not need a vote because it's covered by the existing Wremac policy statement. It happens automatically. Procedures for Wremac submissions. Yeah, I'll work with the program agencies to have the goal of getting everything out ahead of time. Obviously, we want to find a mix where people can submit the things that are non-controversial as late as possible to be user-friendly, but at the same time, getting information out ahead of time so people can see the agenda hopefully on Thursday or Friday beforehand. So I'll work with the program agencies to try to shore that up a little better. The Wremac representative for Sisters Hospital has been changed to Christopher Broderick and was approved at the REMSCO meeting on September 5th. Are there any nominations for the Wremac chair or vice chair? Try not to audibly laugh. We will. Apparently, someone on the phone could not audibly laugh. I will try to find a solution to perhaps split the work of the chair, but not force someone to become the chair-elect in the hopes of someday not having this job anymore. Andover, I don't think anything that I've read so far requires a vote. Is that correct? Yep, good. Andover Volunteer Ambulance Corps is requesting a letter of approval for Wremac to indicate the service has been notified they intend to apply for ALS authorization in order to apply for a controlled substance license. They are trying to go from basic to CC. So this is different than their approval, correct? They'll come back for approval afterwards, but this is the step that they need in the meantime. Okay. How many CCs do they have? And what's their plan going forward?
They have 3 CCs.
Okay.
They have a tall pine ATV park within their district.
Uh-huh.
And they want to be able to have pain management.
That will need a vote. Is there a motion for me, and by me I mean Karen, to write that letter?
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Dr. Walters. Is there a second? John? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that carries, so still need to come back when they're actually done with the medical director change form and whatnot at that point. The following were summer approvals. This is number 6, and I'll ask these to be ratified in mass. Medical director change for Mercy Flight from Dr. O'Brien to Dr. Billetier, pad notification for the ones listed there, and epi syringe notification for Porterville Fire Department. Is there a motion to approve the interim chair summer approvals in mass? Motion. Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Dr. Clemens, you have a
Yep.
question?
Sorry, is there questions on the motion? Sir.
Point of clarity, so,
Yes.
Mercy Flight, Western New York was done in June, this is for Mercy EMS.
Okay. All right, so just to clarify, that was for Mercy EMS. I think the people who made motions are unfazed in their support of this idea. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It carries. Thank you for the clarification. There's 2 medical director changes in front of us. One is Bellevue Volunteer Fire Company from Dr. Tackett to Dr. McNamara. The other is Holly Joint Fire District switching to Dr. John Schlussler. Am I saying that right? Probably not.
Shop clerk, maybe?
Do we know, so there's a note on his form that this is a temporary change, or what's happening with that?
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of info on it. It came up yesterday. Karen approached me yesterday
Yeah.
about this, so I've not dived into this whole director change. I do know that the leaving medical director has reached out to his agencies, which are about 5 or 6 of them, and said, I'm done. I'm retiring here by this day. You guys need to find somebody. So this might be their temporary solution until they can find a solution.
Gotcha. Okay, let's do this, if there's no objections. Why don't we separate that one from the massive approvals I'm gonna ask for in a second, and then we'll talk about that one a little bit separately, if that's okay? So it's Bellevue Volunteer Fire Company packets to McNamara, pad notifications as listed, epi syringe notifications as listed, EPCR change for Fredonia Fire, BLS 12 lead approval for Ellicott Fire, naloxone for Stafford Fire and Angola Fire, and level of care change for Whale Center AEMT to paramedic. Is there a motion? Is there any questions about any of those items? And again, that is excluding Holly Joint Fire District. Is there a motion to approve all of those in mass?
I'll make a motion.
Dr. Walters, is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The issue of Holly Joint Fire District, this came to us yesterday or the day before. I think what I would ask for the permission of the Wremac to do is for me to investigate this in the next couple days. Yes, oh, sorry, go ahead.
The Holly Joint Fire
Yeah.
District is the BLS First Response Agency. Dr. Wolf out of Unity Hospital is elected to stop providing medical direction to EMS agencies from Unity. So I presume that has something to do with it. I don't know the exact details, but I can
So it sounds like this is a situation in flux. I think it's reasonable for us to approve it for a number of reasons, including making me not have to be their medical director in the short term. Does anyone have any questions or heartburn about that? I'm told this gentleman is a medical director in the Monroe Livingston region. So, all right, so motion to approve Holly Joint Fire District change. Motion? Thank you, sir. Second? Thank you, sir. All in favor? Any opposed? Is there any other new business from the floor or issues for us to address? All right, we will turn it over to the New York State DOH for a hospital hub presentation.
Oh, that was quick, you're right.
Do you want me to?
You don't have the remainder of the 2 hours.
No, I
so
don't?
wanna be clear.
Okay. I was told I need to be quick or I lose everybody's attention.
That's fair.
No.
Are we finished with everything else regarding the meeting?
Yes,
Okay, because I'm going to stop recording.
I think that's fair. Are we back now?
We are.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn? John McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? See you in 2 months.